Going on, everyone? John Matrix here. Hope you're all having yourselves a wonderful day wherever you're at and whenever you're having the chance to watch this. We got another requested video here in the SCP universe. This one is another one by Mr. Illustrated, the Mobile Task Force Secret Field Codes. Links will be down below in the description to the original video without my commentary and reaction, and to Mr. Illustrated's channel. Please do me a favor and click those links. If you enjoy this video, go over there and give it a like. And if you enjoy Mr. Illustrated's content and you're not already subscribed to him, please do me a favor of clicking that subscribe button on his channel. It's free, and the man definitely deserves some love. He makes a lot of great content for the SCP universe, so please go over there and do those things. I often do these reactions live from our YouTube members. We'd love to have you guys come in, hang out, and join the discussions, and just chill out and have a good time while we're doing these reactions live. There is a join button underneath the video, as well as a link in the description. Check out those YouTube membership tiers if you have any interest in doing so. You can get early access to videos, get priority in any reaction requests, there's a sub Discord, priority in any kind of game night stuff that we do, etc, etc. So check out the YouTube membership benefits, see if they have any interest for you, and if you would like to take your support from me, do that next level and help me out monetarily. Regardless, thank you very much for taking out the time from your day to watch this video. Hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. This is again by Mr. Illustrated, the Mobile Task Force Secret Field Codes.
Good day everyone and welcome to SCP Illustrated, entry log 79. Something a little bit different today. We'll be looking at an SCP idea that never actually made it. This will be presented in the same format as the SCP classes and threat level videos, so with all that in mind, let's get into this.
Interesting. I mean, I'm trying to think of what I guess the idea of the field codes would be like some kind of codes and communications they can use, obviously while they're in the field, to what's it called, like the idea in World War II of like flash thunder, you know, identification, challenge and identification codes to make sure that people are who they say they are and their allies and friends. They haven't been taken over by any kind of, you know, SCP or anything like that. Also the ability to, I guess, you know, just quickly state a threat and its level in a code very quickly instead of having a long drawn out explanation. Because obviously in certain scenarios you need to relay information as quickly as possible, so condensing it down to a field code so that someone can know, hey, there's a god level threat here and they're attempting to do this. These are the countermeasures that we have currently in place and are ready to go. Instead of just saying that sentence and, you know, taking precious time to do so, they can just say scenario X2 Y32, and they would know exactly what's going on at that point in time and would be on the same page and being able to, you know, coordinate things properly. That's what I'm assuming this is supposed to be.
The following data release has been authorized by the following council members and administration staff. So, in 2013, an SCP wiki user by the username ToadKing put forward the idea of an SCP field code to be used by the mobile task forces, an unspoken code used to relay information between one team to another. He argued that with so many MTF agents going missing in alternate realities and to unknown threats in the field, they needed a way of alerting the next MTF team to what was going on in that area at that moment. This would quickly inform MTF teams to any dangers or situations, better preparing them to deal with them. The idea was born out of the hobo signs phenomena. Homeless people would mark certain areas with chalk symbols that would indicate things such as free handouts, police patrol the area and watch out for the dogs, etc. Sadly, this idea was never implemented into practice amongst the MTF, but the symbols still remain to this day on the old SCP forum. Now, I find them fascinating, and with that in mind, I wanted to bring them all to you. Now, while they did not become one of the MTF practices, they did become part of something. I will talk about that at the end. In the meantime, here are the SCP MTF symbols as designed by ToadKing. The Foundation has been here. This area or location has been previously explored by MTF operatives.
Makes sense.
Unsafe place. This area is not safe for MTF operatives to be. This area should be avoided. If unavoidable, Extreme caution must be taken to avoid unnecessary risk or injury.
Okay. So this is more of like symbology. Someone has been taken, or they're going to, like, they're in a situation where an MTF is going to be wiped out. They only have a few moments. There's nothing else they can do. So they quickly have to draw something on the ground to indicate what happened, give a warning, give as much information as possible. And so that's what they're doing. So it's not necessarily like, I mean, I guess they could also have verbal, means of, again, challenge codes and or information relaying codes like I was thinking at the beginning. It still would probably be beneficial to have those. But I didn't think of the idea of, yeah, we're in a scenario where we're not going to survive. I need to relay some information as quickly as possible. Let me draw this.
Space distance distortion. Local topography is unstable. Depth perception is unreliable. Both are subject to radical changes.
I feel like something like that would be hard. Because, like, if you're already in a scenario where reality is being altered where you're at, like, how difficult is it going to be for them to, like, see this without already entering the reality altering effects? But if you leave that behind, they can at least know, okay, we're in this kind of scenario. Let's act accordingly. You know what I mean?
Do not follow the little girl.
Okay.
Do not make physical contact.
Okay.
MTF operatives are to avoid all forms of physical contact with the object or entity. Physical contact may cause unpredictable results, including displacement, disease, mutation, or even death. Danger on the other side. Unspecified hostile threats are present on the opposite side of this structure or surface. Rooms move, area changes. Local topography is subject to change. Maps and standard navigation procedures are non-viable.
Little backrooms action.
Do not make eye contact. MTF operatives are not to make eye contact with any entity. Hostile being. A hostile entity has been identified in this location. MTF operatives are to proceed with extreme caution.
It's an interesting symbol to use for a hostile being. Almost looks like a Christmas tree where the top's just broken up. Actually, it almost kind of looks like it could be also like something breathing fire, like this could be fire breath. I don't know. Interesting.
Stay together. All MTF operatives must stay in groups, no fewer than 2 people to a group.
I can see that. It looks like a couple stick figures holding hands almost, so stay together.
Get out fast. All MTF units are to immediately retreat to a safe location. Missing in action or killed in action MTF operatives are to be abandoned.
Yikes.
Safe place to rest.
Gotcha.
MTF operatives are safe to rest and check equipment.
I would almost kind of like, to me, like the idea of, well, I mean, I guess it wouldn't necessarily indicate like a safe house. You know what I mean? Because that's what my idea, that's where my, initial thoughts would go, is like, the idea for a symbol would be like a house with like maybe an S on it or something like that, indicating like safe house, safe area. But you're not necessarily going to like a safe house. It just might be a region location outside of an area that is safe for you to like, catch your breath, maybe get some water, some rations, check your equipment and gear before you have to move forward or retreat back.
Equipment failure. A property of the location is causing equipment failure. This could include communications, GPS, firearms, etc.
Interesting.
Check each one in turn frequently and report any failures to command. If command is unreachable due to communication failure, inform the team captain or commander. Stay in the light. MTF operatives are to stay in the light at all costs. Use of additional light sources to increase the amount of light are encouraged.
Interesting symbol. I could see that though. I could see that though. The idea of being in like light,
Use of additional light sources to increase the amount of light are encouraged.
I would assume would be for, having someone like this and the light shining away from you.
Stay in the darkness.
Or not.
Stay in the darkness at all costs. All light sources are to be extinguished where possible. Depending on the situational definition of darkness, infrared night or thermal vision optics might remain a viable option.
That almost sounds like that's a risk. It almost sounds like, hey, you need to stay in the darkness. You can try using night vision, but that might be a bad thing.
Don't give up. Surrender or lack of willpower will not herald a positive outcome. MTF operatives are to continue on mission.
Gotcha.
It is not human. The entity you have encountered or are yet to encounter is not of human origin.
Yeah, a stick figure with an X going through it.
Guns are no good. Standard firearms are not viable as a suitable weapon for this situation or encounter. Seek alternate weapons or refrain from engaging the subject. Team member vanished here. An MTF operative disappeared in this location.
I like how most of the things that are dealing with people, they have like a stick figure thing. You know, that's pretty obvious. It's indicating a person, you know.
Proceed with caution and stay vigilant. Voices heard here. Unidentified voices were heard in this location. Cannot be damaged. The entity or object cannot be damaged by any known means.
It's kind of a weird symbol for that, but okay.
Someone else is here. An unidentified entity exists in this location. Proceed with caution.
Gotcha.
Hostile environment. The local environment is hostile towards human life.
See, like, they had the symbol for, like, the hostile creature, where it was, like, the line coming in and squiggly, and then going over. I would think you'd want to have, like, the same thing, but then put it in a box, like this. Like, you have, like, the idea of, like, keeping symbols consistent throughout with, like, different meanings. So, like, let me see if I can go back to where it was. Here it is. So what time we're at? We're at 5:37. So like hostile being is this symbol. So like if you want to put environment, wouldn't you just like draw this and the same symbol this way, but just put it in a box and saying hostile environment? Or I mean, I guess that could also essentially mean like hostile being trapped in environment, you know, I don't know. But I would, for me, like at a glance, I would see this, okay, it's hostile being, and then if it's in a box, hostile environment. If there's like maybe a triangle around this, then you'd say, okay, hostile being in its environment, or can only exist in said environment, something like that. You know, I don't know. F-37.
Human life. Extreme caution is advised. Do not look away. A direct line of sight must be maintained with the object or entity at all times.
Like the
MTF
angels or
operatives
whatever.
are to inform one another when they are breaking eye contact with the subject. Team member killed. An MTF operative was killed in this location. Contact lost with command. All contact with command has been lost at this point. MTF captains and or commanders are to assume full mission command until contact with central command has been re-established.
You know, I mean, just the idea of creating these symbols, though, like, it could take a while. Like, honestly, it's pretty interesting and thoughtful work that someone took the time to actually, like, make all these different various symbols to have all these different various meanings, you know? And, I mean, obviously, it would have some good implications in use. I feel like, though, I mean, for, like, I don't know, because I haven't personally read any of the articles. I've only really done, you know, reactions to the articles from the various content creators on YouTube here. But the idea of these symbols, I could see why they're not necessarily quite used as much in stories, because it's the idea of like, I mean, you could put the symbol in the article itself, but in general, like, you know, you're reading something. Like if this was a SCP show, I think these symbols would have more meaning in translation. The other idea is, you know, what if someone became privy to these secret codes and they embedded cognito hazards, et cetera, in these. So when you look at these, you then get infected, you know, kind of a situation. That would also be something that would be kind of interesting. But just the idea that someone actually took the time out to think about what kind of symbols to draw and what their meaning could be. Awesome work.
Proceed with caution. The area ahead might pose a threat to MTF operatives.
See, for me, like, almost like a not a stop sign, but like a caution sign with a like stick figure next to it. But that again could be something a little more complicated to draw than just an arrow with that. Or maybe like an arrow that's like broken, like have like an arrow, like have little dashes through it. So it's like, okay, proceed with caution that way.
Do not trust them. MTF operatives may be experiencing cognitive impairment. MTF operatives are advised to disregard any instruction or vocalization not coming from another MTF operative or a secure channel with mission control.
Okay.
If MTF operatives cannot make a distinction between mission control and the false mission control, operatives are to disregard mission control instructions and the team commander or captain will assume the mission command responsibility. Breach. An SCP has breached containment, or this surface needs to be breached in order to continue.
Gotcha.
Symbols have been compromised.
The thing is, like, I feel like you would need to have two different symbols for the different meanings. An SCP breaching containment is a very different thing than this surface needs to be breached in order to continue. Because if they think you need to breach the surface in order to continue, and then you move forward and like 682 is in there and it breached containment, that's a big misunderstanding. So I feel like you need to have two different symbols for this. For those different, these are like two different scenarios that need to have their own symbol.
This surface needs to be breached in order to continue. Symbols have been compromised. MTF operatives are to disregard any and all field code symbols.
Again, that could be a situation like I said earlier. What if someone injects a cognito hazard into some of these symbols or something?
You are being watched. MTF operatives are being watched, monitored, or studied. Pray while shooting. MTF are to pray while engaging hostile entities. Alternate reality entered. MTF operatives have entered a reality different from our own. Operatives are advised to ensure a feasible method of returning to our own reality and to proceed with caution. Not hostile if left alone. MTF operatives are not to provoke or interact with the object or entity.
That actually, I like the idea of that symbol. Not like, there's a creature here, just go around it.
MTF operatives are to leave the object or entity undisturbed.
I feel like that displays
and
that
continue
well.
on mission. Do not fall asleep here. MTF operatives are to not rest or sleep in this location. Proceed to or retreat to a safe location.
Something where like someone's laying down or whatever, you see like a stick figure like horizontally, and then like, yeah, with this symbol above it, I could see being something
to
a little
rest
more.
Or sleep. SCP subject last seen here.
Okay.
The subject was last seen in this location. MTF operatives are to report this to Central Command and continue on mission. Room clear. This room has been cleared of threats or anything of interest by previous MTF operatives.
See, the thing is, like, something like that could change drastically, right? Like, when was it last cleared? You would need like a date and a time stamp there. So you could be like, okay, this was cleared within the last hour. This was cleared within the last day. This was cleared within the last month. You know, like, there's a big difference. Because things in the SCP universe can change drastically very quickly, depending on what the anomaly is that you're going after, etc.
Does not stay dead. The life form is either immortal, indestructible, or will reanimate at an unknown time. MTF operatives are to remain on high alert.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's an important one.
Stay quiet. MTF operatives are to cease all verbal communication with each other and command. MTF operatives are to maintain noise discipline at all times. Hand gesture commands are the only approved form of communication. The local environment is to be observed for signs of possible audible disturbances. For example, debris, leaves, rocks, etc. Do not be taken alive. If escape becomes impossible, or being taken alive poses a threat to other MTF operatives or the well-being of the MTF agent or humanity in general, MTF operatives are instructed to terminate themselves and each other if necessary.
Damn.
So as I said, these symbols were not taken further as part of the MTF program, sadly, but they were taken forward and adapted as symbols to be used in the Wanderer's Library, which is attributed to the Serpent's Hand, which is a group of interest to the SCP Foundation. Now, I don't have the time to go into all of that, but in a nutshell, the Serpent's Hand believed that the world should know about the anomalies in life instead of locking them up. They often clash with the Foundation and the GOC from time to time, and the Wanderer's Library is where they store all of their knowledge. In the SCP tale Lessons Learned, the SCP Foundation conducted a raid on that library with mixed results. Some MTF came out 13 days later, but decades had passed for them. Others came out unable to recount what even happened, and others described creatures and shelves warping and changing before their eyes. These are the symbols from the library. I will leave links to all the relevant follow-up documents in the comments section for you all to look at and read further if you wish. And that concludes this little video looking at the MTF field code proposal.
Okay, well there we go. That was the Mobile Task Force Secret Field Codes by Mr. Illustrated. Links are down below in the description to the original video without my commentary and reaction, and to Mr. Illustrated channel. Please do me the favor clicking those links and going over there, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. And if you enjoy Mr. Illustrated's content and you're not already subscribed to him, then please do me a favor hitting that sub button on his channel. I mean, for the most part, I pretty much give my thoughts as going through. I mean, definitely something like this would be important. I think both the idea of pictographic gestures like this, to leave behind any kind of information if you're in a situation where you know you're going to be taken, or you know you're not going to survive or whatever, obviously, or if you're being changed out, you have to move forward, you're going to be relieved but something happens, you got to relay some kind of information, and you can't communicate it over long distance or whatever radio wise. Yeah, then drawing these kind of pictographs would be something that would be needed, something that could convey a lot of information quickly. I again also think it would be important to have some kind of, you know, challenge passcode that the MPFs would have to go through, as well as something potentially verbally and or hand gesture wise that they could do to relay information as quickly as possible, depending on different situations. A lot of the symbols are definitely ideas that I hadn't necessarily thought of, to, like, you know, stay in the light, stay in the darkness, don't sleep here, etc., etc. Some of them, I think, for me personally and how my brain works, some of the symbols could be simplified a little bit more in certain ways, like the idea of, you know, hostile creature here and hostile environment. Why not make it essentially the same symbol with just like some kind of minor change? You know, hostile creature is this symbol, hostile environment is this symbol with a box around it. Hostile creature stuck in environment is, you know, the hostile creature symbol with like a triangle around it, you know, or a circle, or, you know, try to keep things as uniform and as simple as possible so people have a much easier time of remembering it, you know, etc., etc. But I think it's a good idea. I again think maybe one of the reasons why I didn't necessarily take off as much is simply because, you know, these tales are something done in a written form. I mean, you could add these symbols to the wikis and whatnot, but I think that they would have a much better place in an actual, you know, cinematic environment. If the SCP universe were to ever be made into a TV series or, you know, movies, whatever, then having these kind of symbols be in place would be something that's kind of like maybe an Easter egg or more information that the audience might be able to glean and understand and get from, to know maybe what's going on, drop them more clues, etc., etc., that maybe some of the characters in the show might miss and not get till later, stuff like that. So, but interesting video and interesting idea, and whoever came up with the idea of, you know, I think he said at the beginning of this video, right? Didn't he? Yeah, I guess it's Toad King came up with the idea of doing this. Very good idea, and a lot of, you know, great work essentially going into just taking the time to think of the various symbols and their meaning and putting up there. You know, who knows how long that might have actually taken. I know for me it probably would take a long time to actually just think about what the symbols would look like and how their meanings and how you could convey them so quickly. So, but very great, very awesome video. Enjoyed it. Like I said, links will be down below in the description. If you want to come and hang out while we do these reactions live from our YouTube members, we'd love to have you guys come and join us, join our discussions, give your 2 cents on the topics, etc., etc. There is a join button down below the video, as well as a link in the description to the YouTube membership benefits, the various tiers that I offer. Check them out. You can get early access to videos. You can get priority on any kind of... Oh, well, I got hiccups all of a sudden. Excuse me. You can get priority in any kind of reaction videos that you request. There's a sub Discord channel you can post in, etc., etc., etc. Take a look at those, see if they have any interest for you. If you would like to take support for the next level and help me out monetarily, I would greatly appreciate it. Doing so obviously allows me to focus more on doing YouTube stuff for you guys and getting these videos out on a more regular basis. And it would obviously be the dream for me to be able to do this stuff for a living. So thank you very much. Hope you're all having yourselves a wonderful day. If you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like and a sub, as it helps me and it helps the channel grow. So thank you all for doing so. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys on the next.